Welcome to episode 53, your source for comic book news and culture. This is Variant Edition. Hi, I'm Mike.
And I'm Nick. We've got another cool episode for you this week, and just like we do every week, we're bringing you the best that comics have to offer.
Yep, usually it's a half hour of comic book news, reviews, and interviews, but like the last few weeks, we're bringing you an entire episode packed with comic reviews.
And if you're wondering why just the reviews, well, Kevin has been sifting through a mountain of tapes getting everything organized. Man, we have so much stuff.
Don't we still have stuff from back in Baltimore with interviews?
Oh yeah, we've got stuff from the Harveys, tons of interviews from Baltimore, the National in November, an Archaea Studio Press special. And the New York Comic Con. We haven't forgotten that. But now that we're back on track, we should start seeing that stuff trickling into the episodes. So, we're back on track.
All this may look easy, but take it from us, it's a lot of work. Maybe if we have some time, we can do a behind-the-scenes special so that all of you out there can see how insane we are for doing this every week.
Whoa. Let's wait till we're caught up a little bit. We've got enough going on already.
All right, so back to this week's episode. What have we got?
Well, it's reviews and nothing but reviews. We've got comics and maybe even some statues.
Nah, that's enough yammering. It's time for the reviews.
Hey, we're here for a variant edition variant review.
Ooh. Now, what's the story behind this guy? I know there's kind of like a little bit of a thing with exactly how many did they make now?
Yeah, they were gonna originally make only 150 of the gray variant of the Green Hulk from SideShow. But I think they overtook orders, so they ended up doing 179 of them. But unbelievable. This one's like almost double the price of the green one to try and get.
Wow.
Unbelievable piece. Just subtle little things on it, like the airbrushing shows up more because it's a dark airbrushing in the muscles.
And you really can see some more wrinkles and stuff that you really didn't get to see in the green one just because of the paint job, which is really kind of cool.
Yeah, he's great. Definitely worth checking out. You got to see it. It's nice to be able to see the two of them together, see the subtleties and the differences. But awesome piece, super limited, very cool. As usual, SideShow is just killing everybody else with
they
the
have raised
amount
the bar
of stuff
and left the pun over it.
Yeah, the frequency with which their stuff comes out. Yeah, you got to check it out, man. If you're a Hulk fan, this is the granddaddy here.
Oh, yeah.
No other Hulk I know of is this big unless you're getting like some full-size bust or something.
Yeah.
But,
And,
out of control.
And like we said, so little of them that if you can see it and you can get it, you better get it because there's really not that many of them around.
No, this is going to be one of those, if not already, one of those SideShow pieces that's $1,000 or more to get.
Easily.
I mean, so many of them just are through the roof because of the limited and how nice they are. But check it out.
Yeah.
It's good.
Now, it's not every day that I can say I picked up a first look at a new comic book hero and said, hey, that looks like a great idea. I wish I thought of that first, but I'm not that smart. But I picked up Madame Mirage from Top Cow's first look for 99 cents last week. And let me tell you, I'm loving the whole backstory. You guys gotta pick up this first look. And if you don't like it, you're silly. It's about a futuristic world where people decide that they really do need a team of superheroes to light the way into the future. So what do? They grab geneticists and cybernetic guys and they build these superheroes. And then the superheroes kind of one by one realize, hey, why don't we just turn to crime and get paid for it? Which is what would happen. I mean, if someone gave me Spider-Man's powers, I would not be the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. I'd be the way more aggressive, stealing from banks and old ladies on the street and flipping cars and swinging to work. No, you know what? Not swinging to work, because my job would be stealing from people. My point is that this character is... this is what's going on in the future. And she's like one of the last ones, but she might not be, because they didn't really talk about that too much in this preview comic. But it's just... she is going to be able to do certain powers. She uses guns, and she's going to fight crime. All these people who are supposedly, they're not, in jail or anything. They now have their own, basically it's like a mercenary for hire sort of business and for covert ops. And she's going to take down each one by one. And there's many out there, so it's just a matter of time, I think, before this character becomes huge, and I really think that Madame Mirage will blow up. Pick up the book, it's worth a read.
Alright, here's a comic title you guys haven't heard in a while. Wormwood Gentleman Corpse. I know it's kind of old, the whole, Leprechaun stories or whatever, that's been out for a while, but it's kind of taken me a while to build up the enthusiasm to read it. After I was just really let down with the last series. But this one doesn't seem to be going that way. It's kind of like, he knows he has this kind of weird, kitschy story. It doesn't really have to be anything else besides that. So issue 5, it starts you off with, like, leprechaun cockfights. It's basically cockfights, but leprechauns, and they break bottles and stab each other or eat each other, rape Mr. Pendulum and stuff. For some reason, leprechauns like Mr. Pendulum. Something about the metal, I suppose. But anyway, story goes on, Wormwood, his new, like, chick bodyguard, I don't remember her name, some red chick, and Mr. Pendulum go to a leprechaun fight. They go, fight's kind of rigged, one leprechaun dies, and the other one, like, gets loose, tries to, have sex with Mr. Pendulum, so he knocks him out. Breaks the chain, leprechauns, running around, people are scared, because apparently in this story, leprechauns aren't, like, I don't know, mild-mannered, they're really insane, like, constant drunks. But anyway, so this leprechaun breaks loose, takes a bite on Wormwood, and apparently, like, infects him, and now Wormwood has to go and find the leprechaun queen in, like, Leprechaunia, or whatever, like, dimensional nationality he made up for this. And, yeah, artwork's great.
Okay, so Marvel Zombies out there, everybody's read Marvel Zombie, everybody enjoyed Marvel Zombies, and it was a great series. And then they did Marvel Zombies versus Army of Darkness, which was horrible. If you've seen my past reviews, you know I don't like that comic at all. So I was a little bit skeptical to pick up Marvel Zombies Dead Days, which was an original prequel during the first moments of the outbreak, if you will, sort of book. And I didn't want to pick it up. And then he said, no, it's the two guys who did. Kevin told me, he's like, Mike, you got to read this because it's actually written by the guys who wrote the first series. And I go, oh, so no one screwed it up this time. So I'm looking at the comic and I'm reading it. First off, there's a 4-page fold-out. It's the cover, 4-page cover split. It's the X-Men in zombie form. It's phenomenal. If they don't make a poster of that, I don't know what I'm going to do. I might have to take it to Kinko's and just have them blow it up for me or something. But I want it on my wall is what I'm saying here. But Marvel Zombies Dead Days, it's the first moments. Spider-Man is your start point, and he's swinging back home and check on Mary Jane and, Aunt May, and he's been bitten, so he's turning, and he eats Mary Jane and tells Aunt May to hide in the bathroom. And then Nova shows up, he's like, is everything okay? And he's like, no, everything's not okay. I'm hungry, and I'm going to eat you too. And he throws him through the window, and they crash on the thing, and there's a fight going on. It's just really nice. It blends nicely what's going on. It explains that Magneto's the reason why this thing actually happened and what Magneto was doing on Asteroid M and, how he got involved. And Nick Fury unites all of the last of the world's heroes together to become the last standing on Earth. And, he's got Reed Richards and Hank Pym and... No, not Hank Pym, sorry, but Reed Richards and Tony Stark and some other guy, and they're all, working on something to kind of stop or prevent or somehow contain this outbreak. Reed Richards decides, well, I gotta analyze a body and see what's going on with it, and Tony Stark's like, well, I'm gonna build this, negative zone transporter that Reed Richards totally forgot about, evidently, and that you guys even had on the shield carrier. Doesn't make much sense, but I'm gonna work on it and see if I can't build it back up again so it works. Reed Richards decides that, hey, this is the greatest thing. This is the next step in evolution. These things don't need motor function. Well, not motor function, but their organs don't have to work in order to have motor function. The brain's still working and everything's great. This is what we all need to achieve. So he infects the Fantastic Four and then lets them infect him. And then they attack Tony Stark while Nick Fury pushes the negative zone teleporter thing into another room where he then closes the doors and He's like, we need to use this to get off this planet. No, wait, we can't use it because then we might spread the disease. Thor, break this, would you? So Thor smacks it and, end of the world scenario. And Magneto's kind of just saving the last couple people who are around. And then you pick up right where Marvel Zombies started. So, hey, great times there. I say pick it up. It's way better than Army of Darkness versus Marvel Zombies. And you can actually enjoy this comic and not just use it for, packaging stuff when you ship things out. Yeah, pick up this comic.
All right, I got another Wormwood for you, but this one's different. It's got plot. Ooh, but anyway, it's Garth Ennis's Chronicles of Wormwood, which apparently was put in my box by Kevin. He said I read a preview of it and I wanted it. I don't know who he was talking to. Whoever they were good looking. But anyway, so he made me read it, and I had no idea what this comic was about. I read it. absolutely loved it. It is such an interesting take on, like, religious characters. The basis is there's this guy, Danny Wormwood, I forget his first name is, and last name's Wormwood. And he's the Antichrist. He's the son of Satan. 1975, some jackal, you know, the four-legged form of Satan, rapes some homeless girl. She gives birth to him. Enough said, and he's been spending out the rest of his days in England. When he turns 20, he goes to America. And he's in cable television. Could you imagine that? The Antichrist working in cable TV. Too bad I don't have a podcast. But anyway, it's a really, really good story. The beginning's kind of weird because it's like this guy, you know, trying to have sex with his girlfriend in the middle of the night. She won't give it to him. And he comes out and he's like, oh yeah, my name is this. I'm the Antichrist. Very nonchalant. And there's this talking rabbit. He's like, you know, why have a rabbit? I don't know. Why give it the ability to talk? I'll never know. But it's just, I don't know. That's not even like the main thing. It's just this Antichrist character going about his day, but he's like a hell of a lot nicer than like 80% of the people that I know, despite the fact that he's the Antichrist. He's pretty much like trying to do his own thing, but he still kind of does like the dick move here and there, but only to people who really need it, which is nice. And there really isn't much more to it besides like this guy just living out his days. He goes on like talk shows and talks about like the cutting edge shows that he does. He does very like violent graphic TV shows for like ratings and everything, but he doesn't see a problem with it. He sees a problem with the people complaining about those. And it's a really nice take on some like religious aspects. And there's a great scene where he goes into like this really dive bar. And there's like this black, somewhat homeless looking guy sitting there. And he goes, oh, Jay. And he's just like, you know, what's going on? Turns out that guy sitting at the bar is Jesus. Which is also nice because he goes into like this huge backstory about, you know, why he's there. And, you know, just pretty much like what actually happened in the life of Jesus Christ. Not just, you know, what, you know, people remember from like scriptures and stuff like that. It's a really nice take on it. And really lighthearted, like it's not meant to be taken seriously, but it makes a lot of really good points, and I'm really looking forward to it. Issue 2 is already out, so if this review has piqued your interest, definitely go pick them up. I'm going to read number 2 and hopefully give you guys an awesome review, because from what I've read from this issue, this book seems like it's going to be going good, and unlike other Wormwoods, the ending doesn't seem like it's going to be a cop-out.
X-Men Special number 1, X-Men First Class, that is. What we're looking at is a collection of several short stories, kind of just saying this is some of the stuff the X-Men did, you know, back in the day. And one of the things they do is Beast and Iceman apparently go to a museum of oddities. Okay, why not? To find a ghost without any detecting equipment. And then they find a gargoyle who's alive and really a mutant who's come from a castle who sold him. But I don't know why the mutant didn't fight back. Regardless, the next story is actually really entertaining. It's like a half a page. It's Magneto waiting for the X-Men at the coffee shop, and they never show up, and he's drank a lot of coffee, so he needs to use the restroom. And the person working the counter won't give him the key, so he uses his powers and grabs the key and then goes to the bathroom. Fantastic for Magneto, conquering the world one small step at a time. The next story is more interesting. It's I guess it's now looking back on his first year. Scott is talking to Kitty Pryde about how Kitty Pryde's not the first one to have a dragon. He goes into the whole story with Dragon Man that they find in the caverns, and they put him on the Monster Island, and it's really touching, kind of heartfelt, and Marvel Girl hugs her dragon at the end. Oh. But besides the point, there's also another little goofy tale about Marvel Girl, and apparently Professor X wants to know why baby ducks are so cute, so he sends her out to watch for. She's got to stop a boat from hitting them, and she's got to stop a car from hitting them, and then she takes them home, where Beast says, oh, baby otters are more cute than ducks. What was that last story about? I have no idea, other than baby otters are apparently cuter than ducks, and Magneto can get bathroom keys, no problem. Pick it up. It's fun to read. It's a goofy little short stories. It's not really a mandatory read, but it's just kind of like, oh, it's kind of goofy in a way. And if you got a kid, maybe you want to pick them up something you can read and actually, you know, enjoy. I'd say pick up that book. If you're not a diehard X-Men fan, don't worry about it. All right, I read a lot of comics, and every now and then I miss something. And one of the ones that I missed after the whole Civil War thing was the Mighty Avengers. I didn't pick up 1 or 2, so I have no idea what's going on. But I'm on number 3 now, and now I gotta go back and pick up 1 and 2. Why? Because the Mighty Avengers so far, to me, in this issue, looks amazing. So this new team of Mighty Avengers is dealing with, from what I understand, is what happens when you mix Tony Stark with nanotech and a retrovirus and his new suit plus Ultron, apparently he becomes a sexy silver babe. Lo and behold, I was surprised to find this out as well. Not only that, but apparently she is much stronger. Ultron. No, wait, how would you say that? He is stronger now in his girl form than Ultron has ever been alone, which I think is a woman-empowering feminist statement, but whatever. It's alright, because now he can control the weather, and he can tap into anything on the internet, and anything that's connected to a computer servo, and lo and behold, he decides that he's going to crash the helicarrier, mid-fight with the Sentry. So, of course, the Sentry goes, oh, I gotta save it. And he's like, oh, God, this is heavy. And then all of a sudden, it's not so heavy. And he looks over, and there's Marvel Girl and Wonder Man, and they're both holding it up. So they kind of slowly let this thing crash onto like a parkway type of thing. And it becomes kind of a mad scurry, because this thing crashed, the helicarrier crashed, and they need somebody in charge of S.H.I.E.L.D. So everyone's like, well, who's a level 10? Level 10's got to be in charge, right? Who's a level 10? The only level 10 I knew about was Nick Fury. That's the only level 10 I knew about. You know about level 10? Is anyone here level 10? And the Black Widow's like, I'm a level 10. You do this. Defensive battle stations, blah, 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 blah. We got incoming, yada, yada, yada. The important thing that happens in this comic, of course, is the very end. And I'm not going to ruin it for you. It involves Iron Man. Pick up this series, start reading it. I made the mistake. It's okay if you made the mistake. Definitely go out and buy this book.
Alright, kind of on a Wormwood kick. So, issue 6 of Wormwood, since it's been out for a while, and it's had time for some issues to come out. Issue 5, if you were watching, 10 minutes ago, you know what was going on. So it picks up from there. And all it is Wormwood and his little friends going into this other dimension to find the Leprechaun Queen. They go in there, and it's like, you figure, Mr. Pendulum's got a monster truck. It should be easy to track down the Leprechaun Queen. Apparently not. Leprechauns don't like monster trucks, so they run away from it. You gotta talk to him a certain way, or some garbage like that. He goes through all this stupid shit where, put the worm into the head of a leprechaun. Now I know everything that they know, except for where the queen is. There must be a plot device on that one. But anyway, so they're looking for this thing, and you think you crossed into like a novel, because you see like these bipods coming in. They look like... Anyway, I'm just burning that. There's apparently like squid men in this dimension, here for a harvest of leprechauns? I don't know. So they run into them, and they're like, get the hell out of here, you ain't allowed here. And they're like, whatever, we're gonna do what we want. So they go out, and they're still looking for the Leprechaun Queen. He's in good with the leprechauns, so they show up to their city at the end, and, they piss on him to get him in, for laughs. And something's going on with the squid guys, though. They're going around in these War of the World rip-off things, and collecting leprechauns, and two guys are talking. He's like, more worth alive than dead, and the guy's like, oh, I'm sorry, I got carried away with all the bloodshed. Yeah, whatever. So I think they got something planned. They're gonna do something to Wormwood. They were like, something didn't seem right about that corpse holding a severed leprechaun head. Just didn't sit right with them. So they're gonna be doing something to him. And art's great, kind of seemed a bit borrowed, but otherwise it's going all right.
X Factor number 19, a book that I have grown to love, and I hope you guys have grown to love it with me. This one kind of let down. It starts with this whole speech about survival and what people will do to survive, and then it kind of just goes into, it picks up with them, they got the blob and these three girls, and one of the dupes is poisoned, and he's got to reabsorb him, and it might be too much, he might die, he doesn't die, it's cool. The French girl's still hanging out with Layla Miller, who still knows nothing about this French girl, and that pisses off Layla Miller. She's like, that pisses me off greatly, that I don't know anything about you, and I'm supposed to know stuff. Again, we don't know what the hell Layla Miller's deal is yet, but I'm sure that'll come to light in, I don't know, maybe another 20 issues or so. I'd really like them to talk about Layla Miller more, and less about Multiple Man at the moment. Basically, the only thing you need to know about is X Factor's getting closer to XL, and Quicksilver offers Richter a deal. He's like, how about I give you back your powers so that we can give back the world its powers, so that we can survive. And that kind of wraps up the whole thing there, but not a lot going on in this comic. I'd say pick it up because it's important for the arc that's going on, but you don't have to read X Factor if you're not a big Mutant X Factor fan. Don't worry about it. I am. If you are, definitely pick it up because, well, you have to complete your series if you're, a completist like I am. If not, don't worry about it. All right. right, that's it for Variant Edition. Check out our forums and let us know what you thought of this week's episode. And while you're there, check out some pics of our upcoming website and let us know what you think.
And if you haven't already, check out Variant Edition The Discussion. That's our new show where we sit down for half an hour and talk comics. The first episode was about getting kids into comics, and our second is all of our thoughts on Spider-Man 3.
If you have any ideas for topics, head over to our forums and let us know.
Oh, and like we've been saying for the past few episodes, we've got a lot of big plans for this summer. Maybe getting our backlog of interviews isn't the only thing we have planned.
Stay tuned to find out what else we have up our sleeves.
But now, don't forget that we have quite a few ways to watch us. You got iTunes, YouTube, Vio, Google Video, Blip TV, and on TV through Kimbo On Demand. But if you still want the best quality video and the quickest downloads, head over to VariantEdition.com.
That's it for Variant Edition. Thanks for watching.
Did I, save that thing?
I thought it was fun.
Oh, okay.
You did fine. Dancing, good, we got that.